Sponsorship, does that work at all? Or is it allowed in the public? I don't know, some corporations to underwrite some aspect of something.
NASA.
Pardon me?
We got NASA. We
Yeah.
got $200,000.
You get a grant, but
More like,
Going down Coca-Cola school.
Right. Or aspects,
Philip Morris is giving away.
Philip Morris is giving away.
Call it Joe
Every
Campbell.
district in the country.
Joe
would be
Campbell
looking for money for
Gymnasium at the Longest.
That's what it is. I said every district in the country would be looking for sponsorship from Hope Nipple and Television.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, has it been tried, have you, I mean, is that
We actually,
besides
some years ago,
NASA?
have a policy against any sort of commercial material or advertising or, I can't remember the details of the policy, but I remember discussing it.
it was commercial, but it was also, it was more extensive than that, but the first thing that came up was the signboard, the gold
Scoreboards.
scoreboard, which we got donated from Coca-Cola.
Right.
But it was okay, because it didn't say Coca-Cola, it said Dasani, Dasani water. We got around with it, but.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's an idea that can be fleshed out so it's palatable, just, and this isn't a good example, but US First, that's Dean, I'm gonna say it's Dean Kamen. He designed the Segway, those two finger that you can go all over the place, and he has US First where engineers match up with students in different schools, and it's a way to teach engineering, but it's athletics. The robots play basketball, that kind of thing. So, I mean, that seems healthy and forward-thinking, and if there was a way that could be tied in, say, to the gymnasium. I mean, I don't know what I'm saying, but something that's got that kind of cachet, that's intellectual, forward-thinking. I'm just throwing ideas.
We're not a real cachet-ridden school system.
You don't have a lot going on.
And that's good. I mean, because what we do is we have incredibly competent administrators and educators, and we work really hard at educating the kids. And I hear what you're saying, but it's also been my experience that those things are very, very directed in terms of what you're going to do. Mm-hmm. With all due respect, I don't care if our kids are using robot-controlled basketball players. Now, the robotics is cool.
Yeah.
That would be fine and dandy.
That's good for the kids.
I agree. But what will happen is I'm wondering, if we want to go get corporate sponsorship to establish a program that we don't already have in place or we can envision as being part of the curriculum. So whatever we do in terms of that kind of funding, I'd like to hear from our administration on curricular development, and then maybe we could look for something.
I didn't mean, well, fund something and underfund the debt that's incurring. I don't mean that, I'm just trying to say, thinking out of the box.
We did actually talk a couple of years ago. This was it wasn't at a school committee meeting, it was at a SIP meeting. We talked about, no one took this seriously except me, selling the opportunity to name the school so we didn't have to be Lawn Avenue School and Groves Avenue School.
Well, that's
We
a
could,
Catholic.
no, I wasn't thinking corporation, I was
It's gonna be
thinking
the Arnold Avenue
families that wanted the school.
Or a Nobel Prize winner who wanted
I worked in Massachusetts, and there for a long period of time, charging students fees for programs that aren't required has been allowed. That is not, specifically not allowed here in Rhode Island. We have inquired into that, it's prohibited. But my district also sold advertising on the fields. We put advertising on the sides of our buses. We were desperate for money to maintain programs. Maybe I read Jamestown wrong. I do not see that being very, that people are going to want their kids playing soccer and looking at advertising going all around the field, or having buses driving through town with Dunkin' Donuts plastered on the side.
We have prohibited.
I think we were approached by
pretty much all
many of
the
us.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Sometimes, I'm just
they
playing
don't
devil's
give the money for
advocate.
nothing. There's always strings attached.
Right, no, I'm just playing devil's advocate. How Dunkin' Donuts or McDonald's sometimes either looks like it's self and it's all plastic. or it fits in as a colonial such and such. Do you know? I'm just trying to envision something on the side of us, and I'm just talking, that is palatable to Jamestown, because you think the corporate sponsors wouldn't want to offend the people they're trying to reach out to locally. Similarly to Concord, Mass. might have a McDonald's that looks like colonial such and such.
Well, AR buses, we don't own our buses.
Right.
We don't sell advertising buses.
We contracted.
Well, I mean, would you ask the contracted bus owners if they would mind to offset debt? I'm just gonna be here.
I think that bus contractors would take that advertising money themselves.
Yeah,
if they could do
right.
it.
They want a cut of it.
I don't think we should be sitting here talking about these pie-in-the-sky sponsorships for
They work
paying
elsewhere.
for our schools. I think we need to really look at the issues that are driving our costs and then focus on those. I mean, sponsorships for schools, then everybody's gonna be looking for sponsorship. The economy out there isn't great. People aren't out there pouring money into schools, so I think it's kind of a waste of time at this point to be throwing this stuff around.
Well, but I think it was reasonable to look at the revenue side of things, and we have as a district looked at ways how we can generate revenue using some of the assets we have. And we've looked at some of our programs, which are regarded throughout the state as some of the best in the state, and even in New England, some of our special ed programs in particular. And we have looked at ways of how we can leverage those, how we can, generate revenue by bringing students in from all.
Well, that's different than going out and asking for corporate
Sure, but it's another way of
sponsorships.
driving
But I
revenue,
believe
driving
that,
income.
yeah, if we have room in our schools, then that's an excellent idea, is to go and try to fill up that space in the schools if we can handle the excess students, as long as we have the resources to do it.
And therein lies some of the challenge. But certainly the idea of generating revenue, the idea of trying to help our balance sheet a bit by bringing in more revenue is not a new.
That's fine, but let's get off at corporate sponsorships.
I mean,
It's another
the
idea.
other thing is a product, you have intellectual knowledge, and you're applying your programs, or if they could be put on, just again, a CD or some developmental something package that other schools nationwide. Anyway, same difference.
I would agree with Mike. I think we're all aware that trying to raise revenues is difficult in the climate that we're in. And we really have to spending side for most part.
Oh, I agree. I just figured.
I think one of our questions or our thoughts is, how, as a town and the school district, are we going to approach this budget process in that, are we going to try to determine what will it cost us to maintain our services? And are people willing to pay to maintain them, or are we going in that we're coming in at zero regardless of the consequences?
Rather than individual council members need to weigh in.
Because we've been cutting staff anytime we could for efficiencies, we've been doing that going along. We've cut back, overtime on the, I'll call them expendables, the pencils, paper, but frankly, if we didn't buy a pencil, that's such a, supplies are such a small part of our budget. You can't run a school without paper and pencils. So it boils down to staff, because we've got fuel costs, we've got insurance costs, like you do. But I guess as we're just now, Jane's assembling all of the numbers that we've been working on determining, we're wondering what's the consensus on the approach we should take with bringing numbers forward and then bringing them to the town eventually.